Sad to say, but some people are embarrassed about their African heritage, so much so that they don't even talk about it, but are quick to embrace the heritage of others. They ain't see Africa at all. That's the title of this calypso from Chalk Dust.
I see black people running from their race. They own black children they can't face. They don't know their roots as a glorious bloom. Blessed be the fruits of their womb. They just be acting as though they shame of their history. They just be proud of other people's own. They just be glad to disclose their baby's ancestry, putting their child upon a false throne, not their own. For hear them boast to their friends and their neighbor, my baby's nose from his Spanish grandfather. My grandmother married a Chinese named Lau. That is why the eyes so pretty and he has such thick eyebrow. The dimple come from my husband's side, whose great grandfather was Irish. And watch how the eyes pretty and wide, cause my mother mixed with British. And watch at me, I'm Caribbean Portuguese, so me child here curly. But the baby black down to the eyeball, they ain't see Africa at all, at all, at all, at all. I said the baby black like a voodoo doll, they ain't see Africa at all. I see black people running from their race. Food from our table they can't face. If you hear them boast about how they just make French fry and French toast with that steak, they have a name for all them foreign foods they're using. Italian pizza, they murdering. Big, big African wedding, they serving Spanish rice with Scotch whiskey and French wine on ice to feel nice. Chinese chow mein, serving in black christening. English muffin, when there's some graduating. They just fry egg and call that Spanish omelette, and frying Irish potato with New Zealand butter in fact. Hungarian goulash and Irish stew is what they're preparing for lunch. They even go in Honolulu to drink up the Hawaiian punch. Yet when they brew, there more be antle cuckoo and swizzle callaloo. Or make their bone and tambourine ball, they don't see Africa at all, at all, at all, at all. They're making jam and jashi look small, they don't see Africa at all. Black people must stop running from their race and search this their place for their traits. You don't have to go by plane to Ghana in order to see Africa. Every time you're palm planting with mortar and pestle, or on your hand you wear your slave band, or when the Moko Jambi walk tall amidst the people, then you rubbing shoulders with Africans. Understand? But the neighbors say how she neighbor Stringberry in New York City, so that makes her a Yankee. Oh, how she love stories of Arabian Nights and boasting about her French perfume and her Turkish delights. African dashiki she won't wear, she would not even plait her hair. Stories of the Lagahoo, her children them never hear. Yet when her husband, Mr. Paul, left her last year, she run quickly for Obia. She burning light to put blight on Paul. She ain't see Africa at all, at all, at all, at all. The Obia man gave she push back to bring back Paul. She ain't see Africa at all.
Dr. Hollis Liverpool, if you please, Chalk Dust, who is also a master in African history and ethnomusicology. They ain't see Africa at all on CultureShare. Well, we ran into Chalk Dust at the Radio City Music Hall backstage in New York City. And by the way, Chalk Dust is also the Director of Culture in the Trinidad and Tobago government. And I took the opportunity to ask Chalk Dust if, as the Director of Culture, has he ever compromised his professionalism as a Calypsonian?
I would never do that. In fact, when I became Director of Culture, when they appointed me as Director of Culture, I told them I am Chalk Dust. And as Chalk Dust, I remain Chalk Dust. But a lot of Calypsonians, a lot of people cannot see the difference between Chalk Dust and the Director of Culture. A lot of Calypsonians don't have no respect for the Director of Culture. They feel they could tell the Director of Culture anything because he's Chalk Dust. And one has to understand the difference, and one has to pay respect to the Director of Culture, and one has to understand Chalk Dust's position. As Chalk Dust, I sing my calypsos, I do what I want as Chalk Dust. As Director of Culture, you have to have respect for me.
Speaking in terms of the Director of Culture, and I know that we always talk off camera the documentation of Calypso per se and the plans to do such. How would you say Calypso would look in the future in terms of documentation as far as Trinidad and Tobago is concerned and under your ministry?
One of the main things we have done that I have put forward and government has accepted is our Carnival Institute. And our Carnival Institute is based on documentation and research. It has been accepted. It has not come into fruition as yet, but certainly it's going to go to cabinet very soon. We are now trying to arrange the written work for cabinet. But the idea, the principle has already been accepted. And in this Carnival Institute, we are going to be learning and studying and have research and have accreditation for people from university level right down to the smallest child making a mass. We're going to have accreditation for Calypsonians, Spanish, etc., etc. And we're going to document and have libraries and all these things about all carnivals, not only in Trinidad and Tobago, all over the world for research for students, etc. So it's a big thing that's happening, and I'm proud to be part of it.
And I would like you to know that CultureShare will be their doors open for you to give you whatever you need in terms of our archives.
Sure, and we need it because we need things like CultureShare. We need things like what is happening in England where they're having their database. We need things in Toronto set up also one. So we need to collect all these things so students could understand Carnival, and not just Trinidad's Carnival, but carnivals all over the world, and compare and contrast and learn the biographies and study the biographies of persons who have made Carnival, people like Kroko.
We have been reading in New York here that there seems to be some plans, according to the reports, that there may be some changing around of the major shows and carnival in TNT. Elaborate, please.
Well, definitely there'll be some changes. The NCC itself, the National Carnival Commission, who reports to the minister, they want to make changes in carnival. Because carnival is always changing. Carnival has always been changing, like Calypso, and the structure for keeping carnival has always been changing. This year in Trinidad, we went through a lot of changes in terms of physical facilities, for example. Next year, what they're planning to do, they are thinking of having a better and greater flow of the carnival bands across the stage. And to this end, the minister put forward certain proposals, one of which was to build a paved road across the savannah. But the conservationists have got down upon her and says that you can't do that. So you always have the little kind of people who will say yes to no and so on. But they are only proposals. And certainly we intend to hold a number, the ministry which I am there, we intend to hold a number of symposia throughout the whole year on different aspects of carnival. With the view is to, when we're talking physical facilities, to meet with the physical people who know about that, construction. When we're talking road march, to meet with the Calypsonians, etc. And the idea is also to have to meet all of them, to meet at the end with the public and say, these are what the experts are saying. How does the public feel? The minister also feels that that different groups, interest groups, should run their own carnival. Like the Calypsonians do their own thing, the Steel Bandmen do their own thing, and the National Carnival Bands Association do their own thing. So she's hoping that each person, given the resources, will do their own thing, and the NCC becomes the facilitator.
Chalk Dust on CultureShare. Aloha.